Hey guys.
Hello. We're playing with the light.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the issue is that you're getting like the light from...
We should have prepped a little bit better.
That's okay.
I'm going to just be bright today.
Yeah, that's cool. Hi, we're Carrie and Adam Anderson.
Yeah, we are the founders of Whole Life Entrepreneurship. You can find out more about Whole Life Entrepreneurship and my shiny, shiny face at WLEmission.com. I kind of feel like I'm the one who's like bringing the light to the world of the internet.
You're glowing.
Yeah. What's
You're
up,
glowing.
Ashley?
Hi, Ashley. So we're doing this a little bit differently. We are doing this on our Facebook page as opposed to in our private group for a lot of reasons. But the number one reason is that we wanted to get input from everybody. So by all means, if you have anything to say, comment. We'd love to chat back and forth with you. You'll have to forgive the way we look.
No, you don't.
And not just this shining spot here. But yeah.
Hey, you take this for a bit. I'm going to fix this problem. Go girl, go.
He's gone. He's left me. We just got back from the gym. And it is our first time going to the gym in like 2 weeks. Because we just got back from Bangkok, Thailand, which was very exciting. We were there with an organization called the Dynamite Circle. That's a little bit better.
Yeah. I just looked
nice.
flushed and red like I couldn't breathe for an hour.
Yeah, like you just got back from the gym after not having gone. And honestly, I'm an avid gym goer. I go pretty regularly. But Adam has been dealing with an injury, and so he hasn't been in...
Pity me.
2 months?
It's really literally 6 months that I have not taken this seriously. So I've added about 14 pounds of...
Awesome.
Of snuggle. I've added 14 pounds of snuggle. And I gotta tell you, man, it did not take long to get out of breath this morning.
But we're back to it. And that's what matters, is that you get back to your priorities eventually.
Yes.
It's okay to have a little, to derail slightly, as long as you find true north again eventually.
Speaking of finding true north,
Yeah.
why don't we get to our topic today?
So our topic today was one that I wrote about in a blog piece that was kind of related to the aftermath of the experience that I had and the change that I kind of felt in myself after we did our virtual summit recently. And it was about money. And did you know that nobody wants to talk about money? People would rather talk about their sex lives than talk about money, which I find to be absolutely hilarious, but also true. It's awkward. It's awkward, and also we were taught that it was bad manners to talk about money, but...
It's also bad manners to talk about sex. She's not saying... Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so after talking to Andre Machado in our virtual summit and having that interview and talking about how our money mindset just affects us across the continuum of our lives, it made me think about some things. It made me rethink some things, and even has brought me around to a bigger view of how money plays into my purpose and our work and what we're doing. Do you have any input in some of that?
Yeah, so when young entrepreneurs say, hey, my goal is I want to make X million dollars, and the first thing I try to explain to them is you're thinking about money wrong. Money is fuel, right? So you need air to live. And if you don't have air, then you don't get the oxygen, you don't do all this stuff. And so you don't wake up every morning going, I can't wait to get air. A business and your life and a purpose needs money as fuel to make the thing happen. Mm-hmm. So when money becomes your primary focus and it's the goal in itself, then you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point.
Right. When you think of it as a resource like that, as opposed to a vehicle that's going to get you to a place. A resource is something that you think of that dwindles eventually.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons that there's so many emotions wrapped up in money and the way we think about it, because it causes so much fear because we're living from a scarcity mindset. And that's what I find to be so fascinating, because that's what's stopping us from understanding how money ties into success, how money ties into our purpose and our drive and where we want our businesses to go. I think that it's just fascinating how it all works together.
Yeah, my personal experience has been the bigger my purpose, whatever I have set my target on, the appropriate amount of money shows up to help fund that purpose. I think the universe really, really, really wants you to be bold and really, really wants you to step into the places that are uncomfortable for you. And if you can dig deep, understand your why, and pick a purpose and go after it, man, the rest of the stuff falls into place.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is, why money? Why? I mean, what are you going to use it for?
Well, it makes you feel safe when it's in your bank account.
Right.
It makes you feel happy when it's growing in your bank account. And it makes you feel sad when it's on its way out.
You might want some stuff, but what good is stuff going to do you at the end of the day? In fact, I feel like we have so much stuff. I would like much less stuff. I would rather have experiences.
As long as we can skip the jet lag after the experience.
Oh, yeah, that's been rough. But
yeah,
that's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. So when we were in Bangkok, we got to meet so many cool new people through the Dynamite Circle, and one of the speakers did a short little talk on what it means to be the new rich. And I thought that was a really interesting concept. And he was like, here are some ways in which, just some little small ways that you could level up your life. And, it was having custom made clothing or custom made shoes, or going to travel and having a cooking lesson given to you by a local, or whatever the case may be. Really cool ways to think about how to use the money that you're making in your business in cool ways, right? I find one thing there lacking. I don't disagree with what he's saying, but I do find that the other cool thing that you can do once you find success, once you start getting a little bit of money, once you start thinking about how you want to use that money, sometimes it's really nice to figure out how to turn that money into a vehicle that's going to actually leave a legacy that matters.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is that I'll push back a little bit on that, is if you wait until you have money, if you wait until you have success, it's too late. You won't have developed the patterns and habits of legacy planning. You won't have that mindset. You'll get so many dopamine hits. You'll be so happy that you're making money, that it's just going to be so hard to pivot from the money-making rat race over to purpose-driven legacy. And so the trick is that no matter where you are, right? Now, if you're massively in debt and are having problems paying your bills, make that happen first.
Sure.
But when you cross that line, right? Maybe go get some Dave Ramsey, financial peace stuff done. But when you cross over to the point where you're actually generating some wealth, if you haven't, even in the parts when you are struggling with money, you don't have a heart of service and a heart of legacy starting right now, it's going to be so much harder when you have, millions of dollars to deploy. Legacy. What does that spark in you?
Well, when I think of legacy, I think about the world that I'm turning my kids out into. So I don't really care if my kids have Ferraris when they're 16, right? I care about a world that's kind.
Can I have a Ferrari when they're 16?
No.
Okay.
Kind and safe and sustainable. And so that's what I think about when I think about where I want my legacy to be. I want to be able to invest in organizations that can help with those things, so that my kids have a world worth living in.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you think of legacy? Do you want to leave them a business, or do you want to? What do you think about when you think of legacy?
When I think of legacy, I think, how am I going to change the next millennia? How am I going to change the next 1,000 years? I think of what can I do right now that starts the entire population of the planet in a direction that makes it better. Like I'm thinking, okay, what can I do today that makes it so that we can uncap the population limit of the planet and stop famine and war, right? That's the kind of stuff I like to think about. And so I really do love the fact that we're married, because you think tactical legacy, what's going to happen in the next 100 years.
Right.
I think strategic legacy, what's going to happen in the next 1,000 years.
Well, I mean, I really want for my kids to have a safe world. And I mean, you know, you look around at the situation that this world and our country is in, and it's a little scary to think that, you know, when our children are our age and they have kids of their own, you know, what our current situation is building for them.
Yeah.
So that's where my head is, because that's what is at the end of my nose, I guess.
Well, and that's the best way. I mean, let me rephrase that. Nobody can tell you what the legacy you want to leave is.
Yeah.
You find what resonates with you, and then you do that. Like we got our girl Kelly watching right now.
Hey, Kelly.
And her legacy is she's changing healthcare and pain management forever.
Which is awesome.
You know, that's pretty cool. That's a legacy. But how do you balance a personal legacy? So for me, I am very much into the global cyber court. How do I eradicate cybercrime? And if I'm honest with myself, there's a lot of personal hubris, maybe. I'm going to get a lot of joy out of being the guy who did the thing. So how do you balance a personal goal, a personal affirmation of what you're trying to get done, which is all about legacy for me, versus, okay, but I also have a whole lot of stuff that I want for my kids and I want for the planet. How do you, I mean, does this get back to our three, you know, yourself, your community, and your
I
family?
think that's a great question. Yeah, and, you know, here's the thing. I don't have anything against nice things, okay? I like nice things. I'm a huge advocate of self-care. All of those things take money and time and effort and energy to get into and plan, and you know, and I want those things for my kids too. I want my kids to have a leg up in this world if I can possibly provide that. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But at the same time, you know, you have to be a little bit careful, I think, and you're right. Really consider thinking long term into the future. But here's the thing that I really want to stress. Like, it's okay for you to be happy in your situation. It's okay for you to be cool with what you've got and, you know, not complain. Like, I get all that. I have been the person who's like, oh man, I can't complain. Look at this great situation I have. But the truth is it's always okay to want more. That's okay.
That's hard to hear and hard to say.
That's okay. It's okay for you to want more than what your situation has. In fact, I think sometimes that's the universe knocking and saying, hey, I've got other plans for you.
You have a moral responsibility to build and amass amazing amount of wealth for yourself and for the people you care about, so that it can fuel your purpose on this planet.
Yeah. Right? You don't have to feel bad about that.
I am so depressed every time I meet an amazing nonprofit who's like doing great works, but what they really do is spend 90% of their time asking for money from other people for donors, and they spend 10% of their time helping people. If you come from a place of abundance, and you create that abundance,
and then you share that abundance,
then you fuel that abundance is what allows you to do the good works.
It takes you the rest of the way.
Now, that's not true for, so what we're describing works really well for entrepreneurial families, and works really well for folks who are in that mindset. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not trying to go and tell everyone to go be a billionaire. I'm saying match your purpose with the needs of that purpose, and then create the wealth necessary to generate it. So if your purpose can be accomplished for $100 and a lot of hard work, because really what your purpose is showing up individually, great. If you're trying to build the first ever global cyber court, or begin or have a moon base that we can then start harvesting the asteroid belt, you're going to work a little harder. That's kind of what I'm on, right? So don't look at anybody else about what their purpose is and about what their wealth is and use that as a measuring stick. You got to check that out inside.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to use wealth and success and money as a measuring stick for the kind of person you are. And I highly discourage that. You will be very disappointed with your life if that is how you're measuring your life.
Agreed.
So, anything else to add for today, Mr. Anderson?
I think that was some pretty wise.
That was pretty deep.
Just sprinkled like all kind of wisdom like that.
Too much for a Monday morning, you think?
No, man.
Never too much?
I'm going to take a nap.
Well, thanks for joining us for this little discussion this morning. And again, forgive our gym clothes. We're just getting back at it, just trying to get in there and do the best we can with what we got.
We are inspiring people.
Yeah.
Drop
Adam a note and encourage him.
Don't need it. Don't
Keep
want it.
going.
Don't need it. Don't want it. I'm on my own journey.
Okay.
If you want to be funny, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Don't help me. I'm a big boy. I'm fine.
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 Don't need your help.
Anyway, have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks.
Bye.